with that. Shall I do the thingamajig?
Yeah, do the thing.
Do the
Okay.
thingamajig.
The thingamajig
Go, go, go.
starts by saying, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy, Buddha, back at the building for another Power Creep podcast. And I'm with my co-hosts in the building. We got Tweacz
What's up, Bells?
and Demos, the Demented Panda.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Okay. And we have
What?
a nice little glass of grape juice to unwind on the weekend.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. You're leveling up.
Thank you.
It's fancy grape juice.
Yes. Thank you
Sour
all
grape
for your
juice.
patience. Hello, chat. I know usually we do this thing on Thursday evenings. Yesterday, some of you guys were probably waiting, and your boy Buddha did not do a good job of broadcasting any type of announcement. But once again, you can put all the blame on your boy Buddha that you had to wait a little day. Y'all were in the dark. I'm excited for that. I saw 95 say, I'm excited for Crow. And I meant to say I'm sorry for that. But you can see on Tweac's screen, because I'm going to call that out. A lot of people think that this is my screen when we do this podcast. But no, this is not.
Buddha, it's our screen.
It's our screen. But mainly 51% ownership goes to Tweac's. So This is Tweac's account. I've got my account separate. Y'all can't see it. So just little warning that this is not me, okay, when you leave a comment. But speaking of whose account this is, Tweac's, I'm going to pass the floor to you. How's part 2 treating you?
There's actually a lot of interesting stuff in the event itself that we've been trying to flesh out yesterday and today. Like with rewards and the tour and the heist and stuff, and seeing what's available to get, like item-wise. So that's a little interesting. There was an update to the trade shop. And then, of course, we have these 2 units in the new arc. Crow, Violet, and then basically it's a Kichijoji.
Nice.
But I'm going to call it the Keen Eye arc because that's all that really matters on it.
Beautiful.
And we'll get into that. But why don't we start off with Crow? Because Crow is pretty cool. Going into this update, we kind of understood that he was a non-attribute attacker. Going to be a little ranged. We wanted to see, the keys to physical attackers, how their skills act, how their hit counts are, how the spammability is, what kind of range we're looking at, either melee or, full range, non-line of sight, that type of stuff. So there's a lot of things that come into units that make them good or make them, maybe not as good. And Crow, we're going to see that with him when we go into his kit. Just how good he is. Good or bad, really. Being a soldier, non-attribute attacker. He is strength-based normally. But because S1 is going to be a melee attack. This is... Oh, I don't have it up here, but 5 hits, I think. Let me go rip this up real quick.
It's either 5 or 4. I think it's 5.
Let me pull up the imager real quick.
Might be 4.
For anyone who doesn't know, I do have the summaries on the tier list. So if you wanted to go look at those,
I think that link is in the description.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
S1 though is a melee hit skill, 5 hits, 10 dual wield. It's okay. Like, it's nothing to write home about. Skills 2 and 3 though. They say mid-ranged, medium area combo attack around the target. This is important. Mid-range, medium area combo attack. What it doesn't tell you is that it's kind of like that cone-shaped line of sight AoE, or if you're not in the correct like X/Y radius of the enemy, he's not going to fire off this attack. He has to run first. As well as S2 or the S3, it's the similar thing. It has a little bit wider range, but you're still going to have to run if you're far away from the enemy. So he actually has no ranged or non-line of sight attacks, which, if you know, and I think you would agree, Buddha, and Panda as well, some of the most potent attackers in PvE and or PvP are units that can A, warp around the map really fast, or get into position very well, and B, attack from long range and hit without even being hit themselves or be safe, right? He has none of that. So when we think of, units that are going to be incredible for PvE, you don't really need all that stuff. But for PvP, that's pretty important to stay safe or to be able to reposition very quickly. So I don't know. He's going to have a lot of damage, as we're going to see. A lot of damage cap, a lot of potential damage in his kit, but he misses the mark on the prowess in PvP. Of course, he's going to be good there in general, but when you're thinking about cutting hairs here about who's the best and who's not, just because he's not an attribute attacker does not mean he's automatically going to have a huge advantage against every spell render team that you come up against, right? But skill 2 itself, some good damage, 8 hits, 16 hits. Dual wield, skill 3 specifically is going to be 14 hits, 28 dual wield. It's a little bit slower to come out than I would have liked to see for a DPS with such high caps. Like if he had even 75% of the time frame it takes to take that S3 and pump it out, he would be actually kind of goated. But it's not bad at all. It's still pretty good. And being non-attribute attacker automatically gets a bump up to most people's accounts because you don't need Trishula. You can automatically take on the Reaper battle without any regard to, figuring out what kind of unit you want to use. You can just use Crow. As well as things for like Maze and Tower. He's going to be a fantastic DPS for that. So that's why he does get a pretty high rating on the tier list. The alt itself, Taste of Defeat, it's like, 28 hits, I think it says? Yeah, 28 hits. None of these Persona units are alt attackers, so while it's cool and all, and while it has, over 1 million damage potential, it's not really going to, make or break his kit. Trait-wise, though, this is Kill Them Robin Hood Trait 1, no attribute attack damage plus 50%, damage cap plus 10,000. This is no attribute damage only, not just all damage. When attacking bosses with lost debuff, no attribute attack damage plus 50% and damage cap plus 15,000 more. So when the boss enters loss, which is going to be a boss entering loss, he gets another 50% damage, another 15,000 damage cap. So to overall 25,000 damage cap, another 100% damage, multiplicative or additive, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to point out right now that this specific loss debuff boost is only no attribute damage. Units like, I just want to kind of point this out. Joker, his loss debuff boost is 30,000 damage cap to all damage. Morgana is 10,000 damage cap and 5% crit rate to all criticals. He is getting a boost to only non-attribute damage. So while Joker can be like, memed in a sort of way when boss goes in a break and the loss debuff is applied with like arc skills and stuff, he really can't. He's kind of limited to his, his special and his physical attacks. So that's just kind of like an interesting thing to know about the loss debuff itself. But trait 2, Justice, boosts strength / defense based on number of other living allies. Cool. I don't know the exact percent chance of this, or percent boost of this based on number of allies, but I'm assuming it's probably like 6.25%. When allies incapacitated, living allies recover medium HP. Again, kind of not a huge boost to damage or anything on your S2 or on his trait 2.
I don't like his trait 2 at all.
I mean, as we'll see with both these units, they kind of useless trait 2s. So what are you gonna do? But set only. Let's go to passives. Let's go by skill cost. What he has on him is some HP up. He has some actually pretty good stat buffs. So HP up, attack up, fighting spirit, resolve up 4, as well as having auto brave, life fort. These are all gonna boost his stats really well in battle. As you'll see, he doesn't really have any healing except for their passives. You can turn them off and have healing, but we'll get there. He does have soldier mastery, which is kind of important because it's an anti-sniper type effect. I mean, we're seeing soldier mastery quite a bit nowadays, at least on a few other units. This is a direct counter to Roy for PvP, or shift a little bit. V. Who else are any other? I'm not gonna think of any other ones. Weapon break though, this is interesting. When attacking with a skill, chance to inflict a physical damage minus 20% debuff to the enemy. So this chance right here, I'm gonna look it up. But what it does is it decreases the output, the physical damage output of the enemy itself when it procs. This is similar to the icon of Corrosion Fang, but a little bit different. Let me see, weapon break.
Pretty
Arc, turn
sure
that off.
just Baron has that, or at least.
Yeah, I think we've only ever seen it on Baron.
Mm,
We have it on A2 as well. A2 also has this. But
A2.
skills have a 1.5% chance to inflict that physical damage minus 20% debuff, which is cool. It just nukes their output just a little bit. Usable on bosses and places like Arena, sure. Auto protection, continuous protection effect is minus 20% physical damage against. Fury, patience, sure, Fury 2 and patience 2 when he's low health. This is all this stuff, this Life Brave, Life Fort, Fury 2, Patience 2 is all geared towards him having low HP, him being like a berserker build on the brink of death and having just huge stats. And he gets stronger and stronger as he gets lower HP, which is, I think, a very interesting aspect to building a unit. No attribute attack raise, no attribute attack raise 3. Notably, what he's missing here is no attribute attack raise 2, which of course they decided to throw on the arc to make you try to pull for it. That is kind of obvious, if I'm saying so. Those of Glory, nice to have. Ale of Victory, nice to have, of course. Blood Force, like, I don't see a point to this. Of course, he does not have any healing, and with his kit, we'll see he shouldn't be able to crit if you're using all of his passives. So this is a chance to use to get some HP back. And we'll discuss another way of getting HP back based on the Secret of Mana stuff that has come in the past if you've been here for a little bit. You can probably use. Piercing, cool. 25% chance for minus 50% defense on his physical attacks. Sword High Boost for free. Machine Mega Boost for free. Great. Go Charge 2 for free. Decoy, Nominal Spirit. Break Boost, Destroyer. Here's where we start getting into it. Destroyer is plus 75% break boost to him. Giant Killing 2 is nice. 2-5 for free. Of course, that's 12 SC. It's great. It'll be a Massacre. This is more cap for enemies with Treacherous Intents. Feel the Rush this is going to be plus 20% SCT recovery speed and strength. Now, this is what some people are like, oh my god, no, it's going to debilitate the ally. Well, dude, it's like 5%. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. If you're worried about 5% strength or SCT speed, you got more issues on your hands. This is like nothing. This is basically free strength and SCT recovery speed plus 20% for him. And normally you wouldn't be running a bunch of physical DPS on the side of him. So, like, do we really care about support, strength, and SCT? Not really. It's game over, sure. This is what we're talking about. When physically attacking, criticals cannot occur, but damage plus 40% / damage cap plus 5,000. Because he leans so heavily into those, like, berserk build and not healing with Proud Force, which is a staple for many physical DPS. Because he's not going to be using that at all, you can get some huge damage from him because you don't have any of that. I like that. That's a sacrifice. I'd love that you will have to, basically negate yourself any healing for himself for that extra damage boost. This is something we haven't really seen that much before. I know we've seen on a couple units, with Life Brave or with stuff that happens buffs that happen when they get low HP. But I don't know. I think it's really interesting, and it kind of forces you to bring a support if you really want healing. No Time for Mercy, HP recovery from active skills minus 50%. This is activated skills and spells of other units, or from himself. Those are not going to act. But passive healing, like Proud Force, if you wanted to turn the previous thing off, that's not going to be affected. Things like Moon Saber or Blood Force will not be affected by that. It's only from active skills. But this also gives you a little bit of cap boost for him. Like I kind of alluded to, you can turn this stuff off, right? Like, if you want to forego the 40% damage and the 5,000 damage cap, you can then build for a little bulky crow who can heal with Proud Force. Sure, add some crit, add the Proud Force if you really feel like it. I'm not going to be doing that because I think using a unit that basically cannot heal is kind of interesting. Cannot heal himself, really, is kind of interesting. And I'm a big proponent of using supports anyways to take over the healing. Like, I don't really love running Proud Force anyways. So, kind of cool. I like it a lot. He gets that extra boost. the one thing I mentioned before, which was a little spell that can help him out for healing if you really feel like it, which I know it's on my M30, so I'm going to bring her up here, is a little something something called Moonsaber, if I can get to it. This is on my set only, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Moonsaber. This was from the SR Arc and the SOM collab, or TOM collab, if you've been here for that. The HP absorbed into a single ally's regular attacks. This is a spammable buff on, or castable buff on your other units, targeted buff, that is going to give you a 20% return on every on every regular attack hit, right? So if you're hitting for 20k, you'll immediately heal for 4k. Or, regularly 5k damage on your regular attacks is going to heal you for 1250 every time you hit a regular attack, which is a lot of healing. That's a lot of sustain. Now, for physical DPS in general, you're probably going to be trying to focus on getting SET, spamming those skills. But in the meantime, if you don't have any skills up, if you aren't using skills at all, this is a great way to get not only Crow HP back, but many other units. This is a fantastic buff to have on your supports if you were here for that collab. Now, again, that's very specific, and many people, especially new players, will not have been here, but this is just an option. But Bro himself, what I have kind of what I kind of threw out there right when he came out was something we wanted to test was his break values, right? We wanted to see what his break values was because a non-attribute attacker with massive damage, we would all love to have fantastic break. Unfortunately for us, no matter how many multipliers we put into this, his base break is just not very good. And by not very good, I mean disappointing to me in the fact that he has Destroyer and he also has break on his paid equip, and it just doesn't make up a good difference, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, they've done that too many times with a lot of characters.
Yep, the most recent one I think I remember doing them doing that to is Mikasa.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Because she had Breaker or Destroyer in her kit.
Destroyer. Mm-hmm.
And we're like, man.
Oh, she's gonna be a breaker.
They don't really put Destroyer on a lot of units. But you know what? I'm glad Mikasa came and showed us that earlier. So we weren't so highly anticipating his break to be amazing.
Yeah.
But using Axe Equip dual wield, we're putting on Axe High Boost. We're using Breaker and Destroyer, which is a ton of break damage, and we're still not there. So we're gonna go in and test him out a little bit. I'm gonna put this axe on him. Look at this. We have this axe with Axe High Boost, another 50% break here. His paid, which is actually probably the best weapon out of the entire collab in my opinion for paids. I think Joker's knife is probably up there, but this is great for him. He's not attribute physical damage plus 15%. And damage cap as well as break plus 30%. If he had a crazy innate break, this would have been nutty. This combination right here, but he just lacks a little bit. We're gonna put some stuff on him. Sure, boost his non-attribute attacks. I guess we'll give him some more cap. I don't know, man. Whatever.
Before we get into the actual showcase here, yeah. I'm curious about your thoughts on the discussion that's going on in the comments right now.
I'm not there, unfortunately.
No worries. Because I saw this brought up before I think even the collab went live. And when we got info on these units, a lot of people are upset that these units didn't come with innate dual wield. A lot of other big SC saves we've seen on a lot of current top tier power creep units. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it comes with a lot of damage boosts and stuff. So here's the thing: they try to mediate how much SC they're giving for free, realistically. Because too much shit for free is going to mean a unit has way too much power creep, right? 90 SC for a given SC that you can use for a unit is quite a bit, yes. But having 100 plus, 150, 200 plus SC on top of that for free, I feel like they just chose not to give these units dual wield. we just had a ton of units with dual wield for free. I mean, if like not everything needs to have dual wield, right? And that's why the veterans in the community, and as well as you and I, Panda, I think would all agree, Sandworm is such high value for when you're starting out. Because this is what happens. Yes, 2-3 months ago, we were like, when people were like, "Oh, every unit nowadays is coming out with dual wield." Well, this is what happens right now.
Yep.
When we have 4 units or whatever, however many units in a row, 5 units, 6 units in a row that don't have dual wield at all,
And they want it.
and you want it exactly. If they're saving SC places, sure. Could they have added dual wield? Absolutely. Did they choose not to? They chose not to. So if you want to have dual wield on stuff, you're gonna need Sandworm, and hopefully soon for the new players playing now, or if you have the potential to reroll if you're just starting like today, go get Sandworm. But hopefully they'll have a selector soon for that arc, because that's the reroll target, right? Like that's what you want.
Would you
Yes,
say
Caldina nowadays, but we have so many ways to drop res nowadays, and dual wield is so valuable. It's only on one single arc since the beginning of the entire freaking game, and it's permanent and super hard to get.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that how you said it sums it up the best. We've basically just been spoiled. That's the problem, is that they've given us this fat 14 SC skill on these units that want it, and it's leaned us in a way that drops the importance of Sandworm. I remember even when I started, when DB Ray was released, and he came with dual wield, and people were like, "Oh, look, dual wield is Sandworm's irrelevant now. We don't need it. They're releasing all these units that have it." Well, there you go. We still need it, guys. And I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me nearly as much as some of the community that I've seen.
And you know what? Here's the thing. What we've always known for the perpetuity of the game is that arcs make your account, right? The ability to teach specific skills that are only on one single arc to all of your units makes the ability to flesh out and get them to their max potential way easier. Things that are like, oh, I have Prim, right? I have Prim from the SOM Club. I have Reese from the SOM Club. I don't need Honey Elixir. No way. Like, no. That's not how that works. Now it's locked to one single unit, or like Gen from the Stone Club. Glass Record. Now it's locked to one single unit. You can never teach it to another unit that you might want to have learn that. If you want to use that skill, you're only locked to using those units. Same thing with dual wield. If you don't have dual wield to teach to other units, you'll only be able to use those units with it innately. And I think that's super, super key to have those things in your account to then be able to teach infinitely to any unit that comes into your account, right? Arcs have always been more valuable than units. Always. No.
Yeah.
On that note,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are putting too much stock into dual wield itself
Mhm.
and ignoring what he actually has. Like, okay, let's give him dual wield instead. We'll take away his machine mega boost. Go teach it to him now. Oh wait, you can't. Go teach him no attack raise 3. Oh wait, you can't.
Good point.
Like, he has a lot of stuff that you simply cannot learn, or to learn it is really expensive. Whereas Sandworm has been in the game since almost day one, and it is something that we have said, get it every single time. Like, if it's there, get it. Everyone should know to get it. It is infinitely more available to teach dual wield to these units than a lot of the other things they already have. And you can't just like disregard that because he wants dual wield to be optimal. Like, sure, he does. And that's why we told you should have it. So I don't want to say I'm spoiled because I do have it, but like I would much rather have units that have these more expensive or more difficult to obtain skills and not those what I would perceive as common skills, you know?
I like that. Yep, for sure.
You never know when one of those elite skills like dual wield, like Giant Killing 2, like Terror Mill 2, were going to be pretty nice to have. The rarer the passive it is, the more valuable it is, in my opinion. All right, shall we go into Crow? Wait, we were talking about his equips? No, equips? Yes, let's look at his paids real quick. So before we go on to the testing, let's look at his paids. Moebius, like I said before, this is a fantastic item for him. It is a machine, so it's going to fulfill his machine mega boost stuff. It is one of the only good. It's probably this falls in the same realm as Ardene's paid, right? We don't have like that really good neutral machines. This is being one of them, and of course it's unique to him. So if you had to get paid, I get this over the accessory every day, because of like scarcity, right? But Crow's Max is actually good. It's basically some stats and HP, sure. This first part is essentially Awaken and then Auto Haste. So right there, that's 23 SC just straight up saved on his accessory, which is just disgusting. So yeah, it's pretty good. Both of his paids are very, very good. I would get the weapon before the accessory. So I was trying to think about like where I want to showcase him a little bit, right? I think the first place that I'm going to showcase him is obviously Arden Border, his unexpected foe, strictly because we really we need to see his break, right? I want to see his damage first, so I'm gonna jump in here, bring Tinkili. I think I have Nocturne Tinkili set up because I was using her for the battles, but let's put in Tinkili. Let's group them up and let's spam some skills. You know what? For a second, I'm actually not going to do this one. I'm going to go over to stop it. Get off of there. Thank you. I'm going to go over to Finding Theory and show you the mechanics of his skills, because I'm not... When a boss is immovable, sure, it works really well for him to be in range, get in range and to spam his skills. But when bosses are mobile and moving around and they're not exactly in line of sight, it just gets kind of annoying for him to actually damage things.
All right, I need to pay attention because I know absolutely nothing about these characters.
Yeah, so we're going to go over here. Of course. So I'm going to go down here, and then we're going to target the boss and run up. This is S1, right? Run up near. Of course, I don't have any speed on him, so like it looks like ass, unfortunately. So now this is his S2, right? So we're going to target this guy who is a little bit up and away from us, S2. Having to run cone-shaped, sure, over there. Now I'm going to do the same thing with S3. You're going to see just how far he is to run to go to it. And like I said before, for the best units in the game...
Wow! It's line of sight.
It's not totally line of sight. Like, if I did it right here, it's still going to work.
Oh, how
I don't know
weird.
Why. For some reason, when they're like directly vertical, it just looks stupid.
Yeah, see that's that a lot in horrible. Oof. So it's like, it's at a weird diagonal LOS, but if
it's like a cone-shaped thing, but it's a little bit larger than the S2.
But if they're too vertical, he has to do that full run.
Yep.
Oh, that feels
And that happens with a lot of those units that have that cone-shaped stuff.
Joker's not like that with his S3. That launches from anywhere.
Joker's is non-line of sight, yeah. Ranged. Non-line of sight at all. His S2 is that way, but not the S3.
Correct.
Which is his main damage skill, right?
Yeah, that's wild to me.
So don't love that. Just don't love that. Why don't we bring in a little homie to give us some glass or some Grey War ruins so we can see a special as well. Little Sarah, why not?
That's crazy to me.
Very. So the damage is still there. Like I said, if you have a stationary boss, great. But you know what I noticed for a lot of these things is that if a boss is unflinchable and moving, you know what? We should go look at the wording on his S2 and S3. So we've had a lot of units now lately that have had this, and we've had a lot of units in the past that have had this written in their skills. It's this AoE like attack around the target, right? What that means by around the target is that it hits in the area around the target, but if that target moves and they're unflinching, it will not persist and follow them, right? It'll persist on the area that it's hit, but it will not follow them. So unfortunately, these enemies are flinchable, so this isn't going to show well. Let's do this. But on maps where the enemies are non-flinchable and moving, you can very well just completely miss an S2 or S3. Completely.
No.
And that goes with all other units that have that kind of attack, right? Joker's S3 is that way. Violet's S3 is that way.
That is true.
As well as Morgana's S3 is that way. If an enemy is moving out of that area, they can just escape it. And that happens in PvE, or sorry, PvP is what I'm thinking of. PvP is when you have, those pirate ship first 10 seconds, they're running around. You send an S3 out where they're standing, and they just immediately move out of it and don't get hit by it, right? I just don't love that mechanic, and that's something that all 4 of these units have. Of course, they're very good physical DPS units. When an enemy is stationary, they're going to shit on it. The issue is when they're not. So we have this. We're going to use the alt and check it out. It's single target, I believe, as a special. Is it an AoE at all? No, it doesn't look like it. Cool. Cool art, whatever. I guess we can just group them up a little bit, and then we'll see the damage. So the damage is fantastic. I'm not going to lie. His damage is solid.
That's his saving grace.
Those caps are kind of nutty. Like, honestly, I mean, I'm using 5k from Tinkilly and Sarah, but and 2k from the Arc, sure. But those are some really nice caps for that kind of damage, especially for non-attribute damage with huge damage boosts.
Correct. And that's not even with his little loss buff. Is it? Or was it?
No, not with his loss buff.
Yeah, 48k.
In fact, I think I'll probably kill this map before I even get the loss buff off and break, unfortunately. So we're going to go to a different map.
Yeah. The only things that I agree or disagree with this, I discussed in the info reveal that like the damage caps are 1 out of 3 factors in determining how good a unit's DPS is.
Right.
And so, yes, those caps are super impressive for dual wielding, even with these 2 support units. I'd say a high dual wield base cap with these 2 units is anywhere from 35 to 40, low 40s. That's a super impressive cap.
Yeah, high 30s, low 40s absolutely is good.
Yes.
Because you can boost that up even higher.
And so Homeboy's sitting at a 48k or, with that relative support. But
it's very, very nice.
I don't like his hit counts, and I don't like the spam ability of his skills.
So the spam ability, it evens out, right? He comes out to a very good damage potential, right?
Okay.
But it's not going to be busted good.
It doesn't feel crazy.
No. It's a little on the slower side hitting wise, and which is why for flinching enemies and you get them caught in there, it's great. But for moving enemies, they might not get hit by any of it.
Yeah.
So why don't we just go in to see his break a little bit? How would we do that?
Let's see it. And were you planning on doing a comparison or not really?
I mean, we can, but this is
not if it's out of the way.
It's not. We could do this. Treacherous Intent. I did not bring. All right, good. I need to put that on him. We're going to try to break. So we're going to center them all. And I'm going to use my S3 to break. His S3 is his main break skill, but S2 ain't shabby either. But I'm probably going to kill before I can break. Yeah, I'm going to kill before I can break. I just couldn't break. So, mind you, this is a 120% break arc. The only thing we're missing in this for max break is another 30% additive from using a psychic guild arc with another ally. So this is pretty near max. Using axe high boost, breaker, destroyer, both weapons have plus 50% break, and he couldn't break that in 3 skills. Or even get close, really. The damage is there. The break is not. That is an extreme amount of break. Multiplicative additive break. That was disgusting. Should we do more? I know Morgana has fine break. This is the funny part. Why don't we just do this real quick? So let's see Morgana's break. Let's see. Oh god. I don't have the right stuff on him, but it's fine. We're gonna put on break and go roll with it. Like the most minimal stuff we can possibly get around. I hope I put there on him. I don't know if I did or not. Sure. Do we have there on him? Nice. This will even give us an advantage with break.
Nice.
Dude, like I don't know what to put on him. I really don't. This is fine. I just don't.
How you gonna not put breaker on him?
I didn't. Cool.
Oh
thank
wow!
you.
And there's 5 SC ready to go.
Let me just confirm this real quick because I hate when it does that.
Good call, Panda.
How you not gonna put breaker on him? Because I'm an idiot.
Let's build him for breaker, but not put breaker.
Listen, what do you want from me, dude?
Oh yeah, you should put her up
To put
against
breaker
Merity.
on your breakers?
Or you should put Crow up against Merity.
I mean, it is important to like. All right, we'll just add that. I don't care. It is important to see like what a real breaker can do. Like, of course, I could do Murrin and it's just gonna blow it out of the water. But
shout out to Murrin, the homie.
All right, just let me think real quick. We have the axe. Okay, let's check out his S3 break. Doesn't there only work if weak attribute? Yes, that's why we're going to be weak. Notably, Crow can never use there because he's non-attribute. So keep that in mind. So we have 4 S3s to do. I don't think we're gonna do like crazy damage, but this will be like. Oh, okay. The break is, look at the break already. The break is good.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's more than Crow.
It's more than Crow, and like time frame, right? Like you have to understand that like there is something as like break per second. Of course, I could sit here and use like a ton of break skill and take forever. The fact that that's even close to Crow with all of his additive boosts should say something.
It's kind of dumb.
Right.
Doesn't look good.
It doesn't really make sense. And the fact that Crow is not bursting down the break bar in 2 friggin' S3s just doesn't really make sense at all.
I would have been satisfied if Crow had literal Murrin break. That would have made me happy, personally.
So, bring that up. Why don't we go to a map where I can break with Murrin? Where can we do that? Where would we do that? Where would we possibly do that?
Oh,
I actually don't know.
I mean, wouldn't be the same map, or being facetious?
The unfortunate part is that I'm not going to bring Murrin because he's just going to kill. So we're going to bring DXR.
Great.
We're going to bring DXR.
Don't bring DXR's too cheesy, bro. He's too cheesy.
But we can see the lost debuff. That's what I'm doing. That's
what
I'm
do. Gotcha. Okay.
So lost debuff. There. Sure. Yeah, you got Murrin. Congratulations on that,
dude.
That's pretty sweet.
That was more hype than either of these 2 units for me.
I don't disagree. That's great. We're gonna put we're just gonna leave an axe on him. It's fine.
Yeah, I had a very.
Am I going to break him in 1? That's the question. Ooh,
I don't think DXR might. I know Gobble does not.
We'll try it. Whatever. But if y'all want to see his lost debuff, we'll do that now. You know what? I won't not do that in a sec. I'll do this in a second.
Good old setup.
There we go. Let's get this ready. I don't know if we're gonna break. Yeah, we did.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna do Theopolis real quick. Just center them all up on a nuke. So
2.8 mil.
I see 60Ks in there. Like that's a lot of damage, dude, for a non-attribute attacker. So actually, funny thing about that is he gets cat boost from the lost debuff, and you can actually reapply while that's happening. If you have another unit that has the available Treacherous Intent debuff, you can actually reapply it after that's happened. Take another 3k cap on that. And then of course this is the maxed out. We're using DXR and just Tinkilly. That's it. That's pretty gross. But the funny thing is, 3 out of 4 of these collab units have caps around there anyways during loss. It's actually pretty crazy. All 3 of them have crazy caps.
They do. They do.
But yeah, so the reason why he's actually a very, very good unit, he will have a lot of very strong non-attribute attack damage. Like, I'm not using a Slayer on him right now. He just has that. He just has that damage in his kit, pretty much. He lacks a lot of SCT gain, but he's non-attribute. He'll carry people through a lot of content. And if you have all that stuff, like Honey Elixir, like Council of Tenarch, like a Breaker to use Loss instead of him, he becomes an absolute madman. And that's why he's so highly rated. But those are mechanics for the entire collab units, right? Like, the Loss debuff is crazy good for them, and that includes boss breaking. So you're gonna want to break. Unfortunately, Crow's break is, dare I say, not very good. When Morgana can outpace him for no reason, that doesn't make really much sense to. Shouldn't make sense to you. Shouldn't make sense to me with all the stuff they try to make him do. Like, right? I don't know. So
I think it's
very good physical DPS. Just has some extra break, but nothing crazy.
It's extremely upsetting that they gave us all these buffs and, loss and treacherous intent that revolve around breaking, and none of these units break. Like, not a single one of these is a breaker. Not a single one of these is good for breaking. Like you just showed, like, Morgana can be used if you build specifically for it, which, I mean, sure, if you want to give up all your crit, go ahead.
Yeah, right.
But
exactly.
like, I don't know. It's just, I don't understand how you could have 4 units. Each of them want you to be breaking bosses, but none of them can break bosses. Like, what?
Totally agree. Buddha, now you wanted a baseline, right? I think I forgot to do this. Just because we're going to move on to Violet soon, I assume. Just to have a baseline of what a real breaker should look like.
Oh, the old man.
The old man. This is what break should look like, in all seriousness. We're going to add this.
Yeah, if you guys want to know what your boy Buddha's gonna do as soon as I get on a little LC grind again.
Actually, you have to teach him there, which I'm excited about.
Oh, yeah. I'm building Murrin before any of the other Persona units without even hesitating.
Dude, I don't blame him. Murrin's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's a perm unit, and it's hilarious. All right. I think this should be fine. Let me see if I actually have the stuff on him. I do. Oh my god. Here we go. So I don't need this. Sure. Oh god. Sword boost. No. Get out of here. Let me just double check this. Yeah, this is a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm very excited that I pulled Murrin.
We'll put God's Iron just for shits and giggles. I was using him in the event stuff earlier, so that's why I have. All right, cool. All right, let's go.
Yeah, people ask about team synergy a lot. I've been seeing a lot of newer players. I'm guessing because of the 3rd anniversary bringing people in. A lot of newer players asking about team synergy. Basically, any of the Persona characters and what you're about to see here work very well together.
Surprise!
Surprise.
This is gonna be. Yeah, I think we're gonna go. That's it. Okay. Well, watch the break bar, everybody.
There it goes.
Of course, we killed him before that.
Killed it before, but that was
extremely.
That's great. And yeah, it'll be nice just to throw another little 50% on there with there.
It's funny, like, people inside, like, he says murder deserves a 9, Chuck says that. Like, that's the funniest part. Like, I keep using Murrin and I keep wanting to push him higher on the tier list. Like, it's just,
That's great.
and then I'm not going to do it without consent, which I probably could do. Regardless, it's just, the more I use him, the more I'm happy with him. Which doesn't happen often with a lot of units, right?
For sure.
But that's what a real breaker looks like. So I'm glad everyone got to see that.
Yes. And to answer whoever asked about OG Merity, yes, she's still better than all of these units at breaking
By far.
individually.
Yes.
It's
Besides
not
Murray
even
did,
a
sorry.
comparison.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, Crow's going to be... Dude, I used him in a Reaper earlier, and oh my god. Like, of course, like, these neutral, non-attribute current attackers look ridiculous. Ardeen, 2B,
Yeah.
Rimuru, him, like, it's just gross. But
yeah,
that's pretty obvious that he's going to work really, really well there. Why don't we move on to the next little girl of the... You know what? I just screwed... we'll go with Violet, right? She's an interesting unit. And,
Quote unquote interesting.
interesting. This is Panda's... How many... Is this your, like, 10th love of the game?
He dropped a couple
Panda
pegs.
really likes her.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes.
She's a teenager, isn't she? In school or
They
some
all
shit?
You can
are,
be
I
a fan.
think.
No.
You can be a
Yeah,
fan.
no.
She's off
Anyways.
the list.
Rip. Sorry. But yeah, so we get 3 prisms from the event for her, as well as Crow, as well as Morgana and Joker. So that's kind of nice. Starting out at 96 SC, pretty sweet. Being a soldier as well. She has 3 skills, S1, S2, and S3 that have some pretty interesting damage potential to them. S1, like Crow, nothing to write home about. This is going to be your melee attack, 5 hits, 10 hits dual wield, sure, whatever. S2 and S3 though are pretty nice. S2 has that same issue where it's going to be your line of sight, cone-shaped line of sight type deal. Mid-range, wide area, sure. Her skills are very similar to Joker's in mind that the S2 is kind of that cone-shaped thing, but the S3 is non-line of sight, long range. And it's really strong skill with 15 hits, 30 dual wield. I should mention that S2 was 12 hits, 24 dual wield, so it's a good amount of hits there. Great amount of hits on S3. As well having some pretty nice light damage caps. Discipline time is special. Like Crow, it's very similar to Crow's. I don't really care for him, honestly. Whatever. Trait though. Trait 1, show them Syndrolon. Light damage plus 30%, damage cap plus 9,000, just flat out to all the light damage that she can put out. Chance to nullify physical damage taken. That's nice. We assume that's a 10% chance. Most instances when you see nullify physical damage taken are 10%. When attacking bosses with velocity buff, light attack damage plus 50%, damage cap plus 20,000 more. This is going to be, again, her loss specific thing, where she gains 20,000 damage cap and 50% for only light attack damage, not all damage, not any other attribute, just light. Trait 2 though, this is where we're starting to get into interesting things. Counter, I'm just going to preface this, is ass. I think that until they make substantial changes to how counter works itself, the only reason she can use counter and like to help her in a certain situation is to maybe get out of a situation, right? Defensively, because it's not there for damage. Counters are essentially like one regular attack. You got super armor, your unit goes through that full animation, and then you're a sitting duck to what you want to do next. I don't find it very good at all. It does not share boosts with physical attack damage at all. So it's its own type of damage, which means that no, like if you're going to hit this in arena, it's not going to get on the base damage of all your physical attack damage and then get boosted by that counter damage. It just doesn't. That's not how it works. So I don't think counter is going to be very good. So let's go into what she has for counter because I've already shit on it enough. When physically attacked by a boss, chance to activate a powerful counter. So that's one instance of having the ability to counter. When magically attacked by a boss, chance to activate counter. That's another instance when magically attacked by a boss specifically. Counter damage plus 150%. Sure, that's the first part of it. She gets higher boosted damage on counters. Because it is its own damage source, that's really important to have if you even want relevant counters at all. During counter, physical damage taken by 50%, sure. That's nice defensively, and then when counter activates, chance of an extra attack. Okay, you're extra attacking on the base damage. That's just not that good, anyways. Let's go see her kit. How about that?
Sure.
I don't think I've put on a relevant build for her. I think I have this build for the boss for the event, so we'll have to check that out in a second. But stat-wise, she has Thaumaturge Ringer's kit, just flat out. I'm going to mention that. So she scales from strength as well as intelligence. So that's why she has this in her kit. Crit up 3, aim vitals. Notably needs Proud Force as an additional SC for SC to, have some pretty good sustain. Royal Armor, cool. Minus 50% chance of receiving critical hits. And then she has a bunch of counter stuff, right? So counter. This is a 10% chance to activate a counter. It says activate a powerful counter. Listen. Why couldn't they just say
Powerful, baby.
counter?
No such thing
Yeah,
as powerful
right.
counters.
So she has counter boost 1, 2, and 3, which is cool because, again, counter is its own damage type. So these are going to be boosting that damage significantly. But it's a regular attack, so cool. Iron Wall counter is when counter is active, damage taken minus 20%. All right, this is another damage mitigation during her counter animation. Heal counter, this is a single miniature heal, like a Proud Force, like a guard heal, or a heal guard that's going to activate whenever she counters.
Wow.
Her counter lasts the entire length of a normal regular attack. In that meantime, you can still be getting hit, still taking damage. You'll just be locked in the animation of doing regular attack, which does not feel great. Counter charge, sweet. Every time counter charges, you get 1 SCT.
1 SCT? Wow.
1. You get 1 SCT when you first activate the counter, but then you're locked in for the next 2-3 seconds.
Amazing.
Come on, man.
This seems so fun.
Auto Brave, Auto Protection, cool, Auto Haste. Those are some good passes to have, absolutely, for physical DPS. So, I just want to preface this. I'm shitting on counter right now, and I think a lot of the veterans would probably agree with me that it's just not great. What you can do in your mind, here, pick it out, in your mind, completely ignore it. Just completely ignore counter. In my instances, I'm literally turning this off. I don't care.
I love it.
Because what's an issue with this is, like I talked about before, when the counter activates, she is unable to activate skills, to activate spells, as she's doing the counter. So she's locked in place, not being able to do anything. What that does is it's very, very annoying. I was using her today in the Reaper battle, and I was, trying to spam my skills, right? Spam my skills. Well, the Reaper has a ranged attack. He can hit you. If you counter in the middle of a skill and start countering, it's like I'm sitting there spamming S3, right? Tapping it. And she just won't do it until she's done with that full animation, which is super annoying. Normally, if she just gets flinched out of that, the rest of the animation, she can immediately activate the next S3. But instead of doing that, she's countering or jumping around the map, literally not hitting anything.
That's amazing.
She's doing her regular attack animation in midair, not even against a target.
That's amazing.
It's very stupid. And unfortunately for her trait cannot be turned off. So if a boss does that base counter, which they always have a 10% chance against you, they always have a chance of making Violet do some stupid shit. So I don't love that. But regardless of counter, I'm turning that off. Turning as much as I can take off of counter, I am, because that's coming off. What we're then going to look into is her actual physical DPS potential is fantastic. It's very similar to Joker and Crow, which makes her a very adept physical DPS. She has Light High Drive, like Mega Drive, Light Attack Raise 3. Light Attack Raise 2. Bless Amp, which we've been seeing these amps are pretty nice. 30% damage and 5,000 damage cap. Cool. Thaumaturge Jamming Plus. Added damage. Allure. I guess if you wanted to use, in her counter, you can literally just turn this off if you feel like it. Use her as a normal physical DPS and use Allure tanks and all that stuff to get back attacks. Perfect. I guess we'll leave it on for now, whatever. Sword Mega Boost, Machine High Boost are some nice passives, and of course these are the two of the better classes to use, especially for her being light and synergizing really well with Trishula and light swords. Those are going to work for her really well. Decoy, sweet. Dazzle Us, this is, similar to what Morgana and Joker have, is a an automatic proc from Treacherous Intent to loss on non-boss enemies. Crow actually doesn't have one of these, which is interesting. But you know, if you wanted to use Treacherous Intent on a non-boss enemy, you can absolutely do that. Perfect 10. Counter damage and mitigated damage from counter. Cool, great, awesome, thank you so much. When using a skill chance to nullify physical attack damage taken, this is actually important because she already has another instance in her trait 1 of nullify physical damage taken. This is a second instance, which is assumedly 10%. And those stack as independent chances. So you will now have, if they're 10%, you'll now have what, an 81% chance or a 19% chance of avoiding damage, physical damage, which is pretty sweet. You can also stack more instances of this on there via equips, accessories, or armor. If you wanted to, you could do that. Illusion is also a different proc because it dodges the damage instead of nullifying it. So that is another instance of evading damage technically, which is pretty cool. And I think that's the last thing of her kit. But she has a lot of physical damage modifiers in her kit, as well as in her passives, or in her traits. So she can hit pretty damn hard. Screw counter, I don't think you should worry about that. But
Crazy to me.
what she does lack in her kit is, you know, Slayer's special boosts. She lacks dual wield, she lacks sword high boost, purple orb, of course, I'd love to use, giant killing, sharp eyes, a lot of high SC stuff, sure. But that's, again, like we were talking about before, they chose to give her all this counter stuff, and instead of giving her just straight up physical DPS stuff, I don't love it. But the way her skills act, she's pretty damn good as a physical DPS. So with that in mind, I'm going to set her up a little bit for the battles we're about to do. I can take this off. I kind of want to just do no Slayers at the moment, just to see the difference between her damage and whatchamacallit, Crow's damage. So we'll do this, we'll do that, sure. Sword boost. We'll take this off, we'll take, yeah, you can do this instead. I don't really care. I like this a lot. And then we will go with machine boost. And I think that's probably all I care about at the moment. Actually, you know what? Let's just do that. Let's put on thaumaturgy ring, just because I literally never use it.
Nice.
Sure. Let's do that. Well, let's get into her equips then. Let's look at her page, because I think a lot of people probably have questions about her paids. Go do on. Love the filter system. I think that's a fantastic addition they had to this. We'll talk about her paid accessory in a second because it's pretty funny. But her weapon, though, is a sword. Light attack damage cap plus 1500. Light attack damage, literally all light attack damage plus 10%. During counter damage from enemies minus 20%. Oh, okay. Again, I don't care about counter. But the first two passives are great, as well as 212 strength, 146 intelligence. Light attribute is good for her Goddess Kiss procs if you wanted to use things like Honey Elixir when you have a pie on her, because physical DPS love that type of thing. Her accessory, though, Violet's Mask, 200 HP and then a bunch of stats for the other stuff. Pretty nice. It does give an auto revive buff. She does have decoy, so she essentially has 2 lives, or 3 lives per se. Draw more attention, sure, that's on a lower stack. Become less likely to faint, that is faint resist, and then counter damage plus 20%. Notably, on her resists, the devs decided to fix this. I know probably a bunch of you have seen this notice, but originally only had blind resist, but she's nil to blind innately. So instead of, I'm assuming they got a bunch of complaints from maybe Global, JP, whatever, like why is this all even on here? There is use to that, in which case, like if you get dropped down with a null at mouth, you'll still be nil if you're +3 still, but they added the cursed resistance to it. So I mean, sure, it's kind of funny they did that post. I mean, they're not going to take the blind resistance away because you're not going to make anything worse that you already sold, but made it a little better, sure. I don't think this is very useful, in all honesty, this mask. I think if I was going to go anything, I'd go the weapon. And if I had both units, I'd probably just go both of Crow's Paids instead.
I would buy prisms before her mask.
I would too.
Oh, wow.
So we have machine, right? So one thing that does synergize with her very, very well is Trishula. Of course, we're not going to use it against these enemies because they're going to be weak to light. but nice to have. Favorite, sure, we're going to use the same thing we use on all these neutral, dark, or light physical attackers. It's the same exact thing. The equilibrium sphere is fantastic. And then why don't we go look at her skills? So we're going to bring Miss Tinkili, I think was what we were using last time, with little Trishula or some Theopolis. And we'll see just how they act. And again, S1, pretty meh. And just to preface, she has like 0 break, similar to Joker, so we're not going to test that at all on her. There's
Imagine
really no
if
point.
her 8 wasted counter skills and her wasted counter trait were all put into break instead.
Oh,
Imagine.
oh, would have made so much sense. Look at her stance, bro.
Her stance creeps me out. I'm gonna be honest
Look at
with you.
that
That's the best part about this
stance.
collaboration. What are you
She's getting a
talking
Very
about?
nice
confusing.
stretch.
It's a very confusing because she's just standing there.
She's stretching, bro.
She's just standing there with her arms up.
She's getting ready.
I don't get it.
That is
Regardless,
how you use a rapier.
we're
I
gonna
don't-
go up.
Yep.
We're gonna go up, and so her skills, cool. Hopefully I don't get. Yeah, I do get. Okay, well now this is awkward. So our S2 is we're gonna target this guy. He's gonna run. We're gonna run in.
All
Same
these
thing, cone,
units are
kind of cone
so
shape, whatever.
slow.
But her S3 is the ranged. Like, let's go ranged. Anywhere you want to hit him.
Nice.
S3 is the gem of her skill kit, similar to Joker's. It's very sample. Good damage.
Quick.
Very quick. And that's what a lot of things. I think you were trying to explain this before. Damage DPS is damage per second. It's not only matters about damage hit count or hit caps, but hit count and speed of hits. Right.
Yep.
Very cool. But why don't we just bust out our full kit? See some group damage, and then we'll do the alt first, and then group them up and do some damage.
Yeah, I don't think they could ever fix counter. I just don't see how they
the
would
only
do that.
counter they could make good is if they had like a locked counter for the skill that's going to be used, right? Like Baelin's. That would be good, but that might be a little bit too OP at some points. Honestly.
Nah, she counters with her S3. Get out of here. Trying to
we
hear Steelers
discussed
go.
Well, I will say, for other units that do have counter, they do use their regular attack. So if a unit is countering and they have a regular attack that's ranged, they will counter with that. So that's generally a pretty quick counter. Just interesting.
Interesting. That was nice little hit right there. I'm mad at it.
Minus 60 to lane.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Rip. So let's group them up and let's S3. This thing's pretty fun. So just watch. And boss is gonna be dead in a second, so we'll watch the other ones. I mean that's some good damage.
Oh yeah, it is.
A lot faster than Crow.
Yeah, Crow gets the brownie points just because he's no attribute.
And his damage isn't that far off of this, but yes, he gets. It's pretty.
No attribute.
Hers are pretty fast, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's very similar to Joker in regards of as a physical DPS. Her skills act very similarly, as well as the DPS potential is very similar. She may not have as high as burst damage as him in break or against loss, but her DPS is great, man. She just has a completely wasted aspect of her kit, kind of like Crow. Weird.
Yeah.
I think Dazzle Us is actually pretty useless and a waste of space too.
The Dazzle Us about. So I will say, in case people don't know this, Treacherous Intent can be used in an arena. So
okay.
So you can throw this. I will say I was using Joker. Oh, actually, I was using Morgana. In Morgana, you can apply this to a tank, realistically, and his crits activate it to loss. So, like, if I'm fighting a really thick Shift Gorm, and I throw a Treacherous Intent on them, to flip it to loss, he does an absolute shitload of damage to a tank. And that's just like an example of, like, one that's left can just be nuked. Flipping this via Joker. Joker just does it via any physical attack that flips it. I think Violet does it at any 30+ physical attack combo, and Crow just can't do it. So
It's 30 plus physical against non-bosses.
right,
Mhm.
non-bosses. So that means arena. That's what I mean. It's really not useful in PvE outside of arena. Like that's yeah, but it's useful there. I will say that. And I think that's something we kind of glossed over last time. We probably didn't even get to like test it last time, but it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's them.
that's Violet. She's like, listen, these are two very good DPS units, right? If you can
That's it.
pretty much just ignore their gimmicks, ignore the break, ignore. I mean, you can lean into the break if you have multiple crows, sure, but you can pretty much totally ignore Violet's counter. I don't think it's very good at all to her kit. I don't think his break is anything substantially impressive. But their damage potential is there, and they're very, very meta in that, which is cool.
Both of these units give me the same feeling that Shift Millum gave me.
I would say, for my purposes, I'm excited more for them because I actually think they have great DPS. I think Shift Millum just does not.
Well, but that's the thing is Shift Millum
She was a failed experiment.
to an
I totally understand.
yes, but to an average player, Shift Millum can hit damage very easily, caps very easily. She had good multipliers. She was a good unit. Yes, I think both of these units are better, obviously, with their DPS.
Right.
It's just that like their kits feel bad in synergy to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how we went from a collaboration, like we went from having things like V, Gen, Roy,
Anku even like just great supports, useful units even now.
to this. Like, sure, they're okay DPS. I have 90 other DPS. I don't need more. Like,
So
I want.
here's the thing, and you know, you might see some maybe some holes for this argument. We did just have May's release, okay,
Yeah.
and the having a plethora of good, strong, high DPS units is very useful if you want to complete content fast and rank higher in that specific event, right? Having all 4 of these units is going to benefit you very much in the maze itself, especially for this month, right? And I think they're leaning heavily into that as people will want more DPS to do these levels, the floors faster.
Yeah, that's undeniable. The maze introduces, as we've discussed, a completely different way to think about each unit and literally their strong roles in very specific battles because now it's very relevant to have an arsenal.
Totally agree with you.
So yes, in that sense, they're gonna do fantastic. Don't be sad if you have these units on your account.
No,
Definitely
great.
not.
It's just never mind.
I'm just sad it's like lost potential. Like, they could have done interesting things. Like,
Mhm.
she could have been a great counter unit if they would have just made her counters do something different like Balin. Like,
Yep.
Balin's a good counter unit, believe it or not. His kit doesn't have practically any counter in it.
So
And he's great at it.
I will say, I think I saw someone else talking about this. It's kind of like Violet for counter is like she's like a stepping stone on the way to making counter good. I think they needed a lot more from her. I just think it's a start, right? And I don't know if they realize how useless it still is. And I think I've showed you guys the bug that's happening with counter, and I don't want to show it here at all. Like, if people think counter is good because of that, that's getting fixed. So
Yeah,
it's hard for me to say that what it is without saying like counter's still not going to be good and will not be after that's fixed. So like it's very, very low tier in respect of, do we want to build for this? If counter had the damage boosts of the physical attacks of the units it's hitting, I think that would be something, but it doesn't. It's its own type of damage. I don't know. I don't love it. But
not
hopefully in
fun.
the future, if they ever make a counter, they'll fuse this with like a Balin type counter, because like that would actually be useful, like you said.
Yeah.
Like just straight up, all counters counter with "please don't do this" instead, or "let's finish this."
Or the S1. Just like always counter with an S1.
Please don't do this as your S1.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the names. I just say S1.
That's what I was saying. Like, just
Yeah.
make it like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
when have they actually introduced a unit where it's like this is textbook? I feel like there is always nitpicky crap that we find with every single new release.
Did we find much with Joker? Oh, Joker just had 0 break. Yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah.
Morgana, though, I don't think we found much wrong with Morgana, to be fair. He's niche, but
He does what he does
Or he-
well.
yeah, he doesn't have any weird mechanics that don't work with himself.
No, I agree. I think Morgana
Morgana's kit's pretty fluid.
It's fluid, and that's what makes it fun. It doesn't feel like there's any holes. It doesn't feel like there's anything that was left on the table with him. He does what he was supposed to do. His innates reflect that. His passives reflect that.
Mm-hmm.
With these
It
other
kind of goes back to what I was saying about him during that podcast too. Is like he's significantly easier to build than any of these other units because the crit stuff is pretty basic, and that's all he needs.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Well, there was something I wanted to say about these units. Oh, you did, or you didn't. Your ratings for them on the tier list is that still behind the scenes?
That's up.
That is up.
They're all right around a 9.
They're all right around a 9.
So we gave. I mean, we still have yet to. They're dynamic, right? So we can always tinker them a little bit. But
They're
as of right now, yeah, they're tentative, but they're up. So like with again dynamic. Crows right now is the highest rated at 9.1. Joker is a 9.0. Violet's an 8.9, and Morgana's an 8.8. So like, they're like, if you think, oh, this one's better than this one, they're so close. You should be happy with anyone you get from this. And those are basically ratings for like, essentially Crow without break, essentially Violet without counter, like Joker, actually Joker pretty much by himself. And Morgana has some pretty niche abilities too. Like, they're all very good units.
Yeah.
Anything around 9 is extremely good. Like we have, and I don't need to explain it. The range of units that we have, 9 is, if you look who else is rated 9, it's disgusting. Which is cool. These units are very, very usable and fall directly into what we think of as good units.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we talk about the Eyes Ark?
We shall. The Ark is friggin' gross. Our Kichijoji. The Kenai Ark.
If you don't have it, get it.
Listen, we can start off by saying this, and we'll run through Glass Record and Kenai, because this is the gem of the collab, and I don't need to mince words when I say that this is the most valuable thing you can get from the collab is this Ark. With a disclaimer, if you do not have Glass Record, because Glass Record and Kenai are the exact same thing, just reskinned. If you have Glass Record, don't even worry about this Ark. Of course, there's other stuff on it that you could want if you really feel like no attribute attack raise 2 or heal counter or encouragement, sure. But the absolute focus of this Ark is Kenai. So why don't we get into the passives real quick? Stat-wise, nothing special. 3,400 HP is actually pretty nice, I will say. Passives, though, ST recovery speed plus 10%, great. A continuous strength plus 25% buff. This is essentially your fast brave buff or auto brave buff, just continuous at 25% though. And then when taking an attribute weakness attack, chance to nullify damage taken. Again, nullifying chance to nullify damage taken, similar to what Violet has in her kit. So this works kind of well on her if she's getting hit by a weakness attack. When physically attacking an enemy in break, give the strength a strength defense into mind minus 20% debuff. This is kind of cool because it's an automatic debuff when you're hitting an enemy that's already in break. And if you're going to be using this on a persona unit who assumedly has applied treacherous intent and you've broken the boss, that giving debuffs on top of the actual loss debuffs is pretty cool. I like that a lot. Then we go into the unit skills. Encouragement. I actually really like this. This is only 2 SC, and we're having more and more things like the AER itself, giving MP back at the end of battle, which stacks with things like Ale of Honor? Ale of Honor, Archangel's Blessing, some other accessories as well. You can get up to like 70% MP back after a turn at this point. It's pretty wild. Heal counter.
On the,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say encouragement is exactly half of Ale of Honor. It's like the cheaper version.
Yep. And they stack, so that's pretty sweet. Heal counter. Again, counters ass. So if you want to use this, put this on a unit that's going to be countering, sure, use it. MP up 4. This is something we've only seen on, I think, Maiden's Banquet and maybe one other arc, but I can't remember which one. But this is a pretty rare stat up. Light shield, sure. I think isn't this only on like Great War or Kagetsuchi, one of those two?
Light shield.
Regardless, one of those two.
I think
then we're going to skip over Kenai
Guardians.
real quick. No attribute attacker raise 2, which I was told and pointed out to this by chat when I was streaming, that many, many units have this innately that are non-attribute. That does not mean that every unit that is a non-attribute is going to have this, right? So Crow specifically does not have this, and of course they're trying to sell it to you by not giving it to him. I get it. But in the future, that also does not mean every other unit is going to have this innate. So as much as I say, like, the attack raise 2s are generally not SC efficient, they're still pretty good if you're building for, those general builds. And can build it if they have like high enough damage modifiers innately. So I'm not saying it's worth the chase for that, but if you do get this arc, it's still good to have that, even if most of the non-attribute attackers do have it innately. But Kenai, let's talk about Kenai. Is Kenai sick? This is literally Glass Record. It's the same exact thing, just a tiny bit of a different animation. It has the same cast speed requirements. It has the same cast speed. It is the same SCT charge, the same amount of heal. It's the exact same. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know if any of you guys have seen my favorite team to pretty much use in all content in last Cloudia video. But guess what was on my Emtheria? Glass Record. This is my Glass Record. For people that do not have it, this is it, man. This skill, this spell right here, turns your support units into SCT batteries who supposedly usually cannot use or shouldn't be using Wings Apple Pie, Honey Elixir, stuff like that. This is pumps your entire team full of SCT and very specifically makes Emtheria the god tier that she really is. This puts her at pretty much a 10 on the tier list if we were gonna reorder things. This would be why. Now we're gonna go into testing a little bit, but let's finish up the arc quick. Kichijoji card holder is the accessory, the AER. This is again some nice stats here: 40 MP, 300 HP, 52 defensive mind, as well as 10% HP and MP at the battle end. Nice, I like it. Definitely nothing crazy, but useful for things like tower, places you're going to be using on the same team on multiple waves. Pretty nice. Well, let's go into the keen eye test. So I'm going to use this on Emtheria, and I want you guys to see why this is crazy. Emtheria specifically gives that 1250 HP barrier whenever at max enhance, right? 5th enhance, where enemies need to churn through that in order to even make your unit flinch. So if I apply Glass Record right now, and I now have a barrier, see the barrier pop up on the unit screen, the unit icon, I cannot get flinched until they break through that 1250 MP or HP. But what I can do in the meantime is, I just got 10 SCT, sweet. I can cast this again. And wait, I can cast it again. And wait, it keeps refreshing my barrier, as well as gives me 10 SCT. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Like super armor and SCT all at the same time.
Super armor, SCT, all at the same time.
And healing.
So why don't we just finish this battle up real quick?
This
and
is
we'll
a
go
s-
into the keen eye.
yeah, yeah. This is an account changing skill for new
Yes.
players. That is
Uh-huh.
why every veteran will tell you that this is basically as close to a chaseable as we have seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Pretty nice. So the main reason this is working so fast, okay, this is what I want you guys to understand. At 70% cast speed, Glass Record and Keen Eye become instant, which means the animation, the pre-animation of casting the spell, the spell queue, is very, very fast. But at 80% is the max cast speed that's going to affect that animation. And it is it's not, if you don't have an eye for it, you're not going to see the difference really. But 80% is the golden cast speed that I go for if I want absolute instant cast speed on like things like Stardust Teal, on things like Glass Record or Keen Eye. So what I have on her right now is she comes with both auto recast. Auto recast, yay!
I think that's still probably my favorite E5 buff.
Yep.
It's so disgusting. 30% cast speed for all spells, as well as high level magic taunt. Which is here, which is 20% cast speed for all magic. Great, that's 50. Awesome, we're almost there. I am using this arc, which is from Valentine's, 30% healing magic casting speed, which puts me at 80. But you don't necessarily have to use this. If you wanted to use an accessory, which most people probably have or should be going for at this point, is Rad Moon Stone. This is 20% cast speed to all magic. This will put her at that 70% threshold, which makes it instant. Now I'm going to add this on here. I'm going to take this arc off just so you can see. Sure, let's put that on. Let's put this on. I don't care. Let's go to 70% cast speed. For the people in the chat saying Gorm is a battery, he is nowhere near this.
No,
Just throwing that out there.
No, not Gorm.
Nowhere near this. Okay.
I think
so,
they're living in 2019.
I think so too. Glass Record though, bang, already casted. We'll queue up another one. Waiting for it. The animation has to finish. Cast it again. Awesome. Every time you see your support have no red cast space on them, you can queue up another one. Queue up another one. Oh wait, she's in her second one or her next one already. We can queue up another one. Your support should always be red. We're queuing up the next one. So those are Glass Records. Awesome. We all have armor. They can't hit me. I'm running around. They're trying to. They can't break the barrier because they're weak as hell. Which is great. But then we're looking at Keen Eye. It's the same shit, right? Keen Eye, after she gets done with her skill animation, bang, Keen Eye. Come on up. Bring it around town. I don't need any more SCT, but I'm still spamming it out because I can. It's the same thing, dude.
Right.
Like, yes, on a different support, like units that have Sacred Guardian who have that plus 50% cast speed, you can just throw on high level magic champ, automatically have 70% heal casting speed, like Sarah, Shift Lena, Shift Roland. You got Ruto has it. They can all use this very well, sure. But your absolute best unit to use this is Emtheria. And then these are things that are useful on units that have incredibly large MP pools that don't necessarily have the ability to regain their MP in an instant with Goddess Kiss, right? And I think that's an important distinction of... Actually, you know what? Let's kill this real quick. Let's get out of this menu. Sweet. Kill on, dude. Goodbye. That's an important distinction of, we can get into a discussion of if people have Honey Elixir and Winter's Apple Pie, they don't have Glass Record, is this spell useful to them? And I think I would like you guys to take that on. Because I have an answer for it.
Yes.
Is this spell useful for people with HE and WAP?
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%. Not even close.
1000%.
They fill completely different roles.
Yes.
Okay. So Honey Elixir, Glass Record. If I would put it on there, let's say I'm Morgana, right? Morgana can use both. Either he has incredible SCT or MP sustain with Goddess Kiss, but he also has Sacred Guardian. So you can just throw a high level magic chant and he can instant cast Glass Record or Keen Eye. He also has a fantastic ability to use Honey Elixir or WAP. For him specifically, I would normally use Honey Elixir and Winter's Apple Pie because he has fantastic regular attacks to get that Goddess Kiss proc and get a massive MP back. Then he can dump it all, get full skill stocks, and then repeat the process. What supports cannot do, like Emtheria, Sarah, Shiflina, I guess Shifron doesn't count, but like Ruto as well. Putting Glass Record on them gives them ability to, kind of charge the entire team with SET without using all of their MP and leaving them useless afterwards. Especially for people like Emtheria and Sarah, you do not want to be wasting all their MP at one time. So if they have the ability to support your team, be a battery charger for your entire team without, taking away their ability to actually function is very important. And that's why Glass Record and Keen Eye are fantastic on them. And of course, Emtheria gets that edge because she has that barrier reapplied every time she heals, which is just disgusting. And here's the thing. Damus, I think you mentioned if you have Emtheria. Even if you don't have Emtheria right now, she's a DOH unit that will be on every single DOH banner. She will probably have rate up on some banners.
You could pity her.
Right, on pity her for like what she might even become 15k soon, but assumedly 30k eventually to pity for free gems. She is still high and away the best defensive support in the game, and Glass Record / Keen Eye change her into not only a defensive support, but an offensive powerhouse for your entire team. She gets 20% less cost of MP for those skills. So like on everyone else, it's going to cost 60 MP. Hers costs 48. She can very easily at 5th Enhance be made to instant cast it. As well as, I don't think we talked about adding Spirit Breath to all of your units. Gives you an extra 3 SCT every time you're healed. So for every Glass Record, you're getting a 1250 HP barrier reapplied. You're getting unflinching for while that barrier is available. And you're getting 13 SCT for every single cast. Each of those casts took 3 seconds? Contrary to Morgana's S2 we were talking about last time, where it just took forever to get a bunch of SCT, Glass Record and Keen Eye pump your team with SCT. And they're not intrusive, right? They're not time stopped. They're not forcing your team, your gameplay to completely come to a halt while you watch your people get healed. No, you're healing in real time, which I think is very important. So yes, this arc is stupid high value. It's just disgusting.
I
we
concur.
Need Sacred Guardian to be teachable.
We do. That would be fantastic. People talking about Gen.
Oh yeah.
If you have Keen Eye, would Gen still be relevant? I mean, if you don't see, here's the thing: if you're in a discussion of I have Gen, but I don't have Glass Record, yes, Keen Eye is still super high value. You're not always going to have the ability to use Gen, nor always want to use Gen. Having arcs and the ability to teach units those spells, those skills, is super important. Is more important than any single unit, barring Emtheria, because she's disgusting.
But even Emtheria, you can use her in one floor in the whole maze.
Right.
That's it.
And here's the funny thing, Gen wise, Gen is actually one of those units that can use either Morgana has fantastic regular attacks and can use either that single target burst SCT like Honey Elixir or WAP, or use Glass Record / Keen Eye. Of course, you wouldn't put Keen Eye on him because Glass Record's for free, but you know what I mean. Pretty nuts.
Get what you're saying, bro.
So supports are a little overlooked in this game, and I think for maybe because people don't know how to fully realize them. Keen Eye, Glass Record, Honey Elixir, Winter's Apple Pie are spells that are game changing for SCT regeneration. And those putting on supports, putting on physical DPS to use them is actually a completely different aspect of this game, and I think is people who are new and wanting to play this game and optimize and get their units to max are going to want this spell 100%.
Yeah, for the question, as Yang presents the scenario, 30k crystals, new player, should you chase the Ark? I would say make sure you milk all of the potential tickets that you can get first.
Yes.
The banner's not going away yet. We have until the 15th. Milk all of those tickets because we do have the featured items on Raid Up, which is great. After that, if you get no luck, I wouldn't say I don't know if I'd say burn all 30, but I would definitely throw like 3 to 5 multis.
I would burn it all.
I would burn it all.
Panda would burn it all. Tweacz would burn it all.
Full send.
I don't think this is an arc that's not worth 60k if you had to go for it.
Fair enough.
I don't think Glass Record's coming back. I really don't. And if it does, it's going to be on a $100 guaranteed banner, which free-to-play players aren't going to go for anyways. Right. So,
fair enough. Yeah. There's the verdict. You heard it here.
As much as I we try to resist telling people to pull and stuff. This is one thing that I'm like, go for it.
Send it.
The only thing that you would stop you from pulling this is if you already have Glass Record.
Right.
Okay, that's the only thing. Even if you have Hunter Elixir and Winner's Apple Pie, don't care. This is necessary. Well, not necessary, but like game changing.
It is game changing.
It is,
no doubt about that.
As someone who has played with an Emtheria Glass Record for the entirety of it's been available,
right?
And had Emtheria as one of my favorite units for the entirety of the game that she's been out for almost a year and a half now. Yeah. Yes, it's disgustingly good.
She's literally the only unit that's been on my team since I got her, like for everything.
That's great.
Like even with Loug Zeus, like yeah, sure, he was there for a year, but you could kind of swap him out now as a DPS.
Oh, for sure.
Not her.
Yep.
Agreed.
Good. I'm glad we got that over with.
Yes.
Got to talk about this arc because Kenai is the absolute gem of this collab.
The diamond.
100%.
I concur. Yeah, now we need another purple orb.
Purple orb phone booth. I know people want the FOMO is real, guys.
You compare Light of Science to what's it? Kichijoji? Kichijoji?
Kichijoji.
Yep.
The SSR is significantly better than the LR, in my opinion, which is
the Light of Science.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's a very, very good arc
for sure.
And I mean, we essentially, yes, it's an SSR, but that if they had the LR distinction when those arcs happened, they would be LRs.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. But pretty dope. I think having that on the second banner and having two good units, like it's not unheard of to have just a very good banner. The second part is a very good banner.
Yes. Yeah. Don't take.
I got shafted really hard on it.
I heard.
Just so everyone's happy.
I heard, man.
Oh, and then the trolls ate us. All right, let's go talk about this. So, I had to unfortunately chase and snag the arc. Cool. Took me a lot of gems. I get it. All the way to 60k. But what's even worse is that I started farming the event and got that 10x ticket, and then it gave me the arc.
It's the worst.
And I was like, "Are you?"
It's the worst.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah,
exactly why I didn't pull for the arc yet.
Oh, you suck.
Curse of the whale.
And that happens like that, but that's the thing. Like I want it all immediately, and that's just something you gotta do. I used free gems, so like it wasn't that bad to chase. But, the paid stuff up hurt.
It always hurts. It always hurts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of glad I made the decision not to spend for both of these units, though.
No worries, dude. You got. I know you're giggling right now because I know what you did. Your pulls were sick. You got Merman and the friggin' LR arc, and you don't even care about the rest of the units, and that's perfectly fine.
Yep. Nope, I'm walking with my hands dirt free. But shall we talk about part 2 of the event? I see you have it pulled up.
See, did Shadow miss that entire part of our conversation of talking? Yeah, I get it, whatever.
Possibly.
All right. Make sure you rewatch the pod to get our whole discussion about Kenai, Glass Record,
Literally.
Honey Elixir. It's a lot. But yeah, the event. So we got new heist areas in part 2. We only had 3 in the beginning, and now we have
Wow, that's
5 more.
interesting.
So we 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5
Why is
more.
that so close?
I don't know. It's aggressive. I don't know why it's so close. But you get a bunch. So we had the first 3, then we had Sneering Imps, Rustling Leaves, Red Peace, Red Prayer, and Reset, Labyrinth Recess. This 8th part does unlock when you finally complete the 7th. And they each drop different things in the heist, which is kind of hard to explain. But
it's
let's
really
go into these.
weird.
It is weird.
They spent. I
But
think they spent more time on this than the actual kits of the units.
So here's the thing. We have something in this game right now called purple cubes. The only way to get purple keys is from the very last tour spot. Okay? So you really do want to be doing your tours diligently and getting to that last heist spot or that tour spot, whatever. The recessive parts. Reason being is because when we get these purple cubes in the 3rd part, I believe, there so and exists these things right here. I don't know if we're going to get multiples of these, but you see what these says. So we get these right now from some active rewards, these crystal mega clusters. These are quite literally mega clusters every time you open them. Okay?
Oh wow. That's where they hid the good stuff. I have
17 of them left. You get these from event rewards. I don't know if we got anything from the trading space. But you can get these purple cube question mark ones, which are not generally very good, at a 0.1% chance in multiplayer rewards from the heist events or from the jewel quests in multiplayer. Really not going to be, you shouldn't focus on these. But in part 3 next week when the time travel releases, assumingly we're going to get the option to get some of these. I don't know if they'll be farmable. I really don't. But these say purple cube : radiance. Assumedly, we're going to go have the option of these to be guaranteed radiances every time we open them. I don't know if we're going to be able to farm them, but you'll want keys. Okay? Grimoires. Assumedly, these are going to be just straight up grimoires. You're going to be wanting to have keys to open these. I'm not saying you should be hard pressed because we'll have a week to get keys, but I don't know where these are going to be farmed. Right now, these are unfarmable. You can only get them from event missions and mission rewards, or in first time clear rewards. I think like they're not very common. These will probably be the same way, but you'll want purple keys eventually.
Noted.
Yeah, this stuff is all interesting. Now you should keep in mind that you can only get certain keys and from certain parts of the map, right? So if you wanted to get like yellow and blue keys, they don't drop in the last stage at all. These only drop purple and red. This second to last stage drops only red. Like the 3rd to last stage drops, and I think the other ones 6 and below all drop these, but no purple. So the only place you can find purples is the last part. So I'm bumping up my purple keys at the moment. Well, that's just what I'm doing. But these are very interesting. I want to see where these can happen. Ones you can farm now, like I said before, the purple cube, question. We don't know the drop table, what's in these. But like I said, in multiplayer rewards for the jewel, like the jewels 1, 2, and 3, they have a 0.1% chance of dropping. And then in the host bonus is a 1% chance of dropping. Seriously negligible. Like, there's no reason to try to farm for this stuff. Just play multiplayer normally. Jump in a bunch of quests, and if you get one, cool. If not, because from what I've seen, the only person that I've seen who's opened one, and had proof of opening one, it was like 20 rainbow crystals.
Ooh.
Like, no, don't ooh that.
Rainbow
yes,
crystals?
the medium. The medium,
the
not the clusters.
the bad ones.
My ooh was sour.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Good. I thought it
Yes.
might be, and I was just trying to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Seriously, nothing crazy.
Wow.
Precious items. I actually like these. I mean, I was shitting on these a little earlier, but like, okay, I'll take them.
Tried to tell you they're pretty great.
I
The
mean, just
cubes?
since I have them, and by doing quests, like I was like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah.
But yes,
Interesting.
the setup is the same as before. Sneering Imps is going to be your Crow Souls. Rustling Sleeves is going to be your Violet Souls for 10 each. Final Wave. And then Path of Red Peace is going to be 5 of each. Path of Red Prayer is, I don't know why they have this here. It only gives you pretty much these, as well as the red coins. They don't give you any souls, but you do need to complete them for the mission rewards to get 3 more mega clusters or 3 more purple cubes out of the mega cluster ones. So, whatever. Trading space though, this is I've pretty much cleared out at this point because I was playing multiplayer all day. Bunch of stamps. This is where you get like the special cubes unlocks. Oh, we do need to talk about the special cubes because preface this, when you complete a heist area, you get a special cube. Okay, you 100% it, right? Heist areas, you 100% each one of these. So I think these were like first rate potions, some gold pieces and crap like that. But 4 through 7, this Sneering Imps, Rustling Leaves, Red Peace, and Red Prayer, were prisms. Okay, the first one being, I think this was a Joker prism. The 5th place being a Morgana prism when you complete it. 6th was Crow, and 7th was Violet, I think. And then the 8th place, when you complete the final tour area, it's a Rainbow Potion. So you'll be wanting to do your heists. Complete them. I think this one only took like 5 heists. I think the last one, it was 4 hours each, but it only took 5. Yes.
Not bad.
Prisms in the last 4, or the 4 to the last 5, and then the last one is a Rainbow Potion. So definitely continue doing your heists. Don't slack on those. As well as make sure you're getting your purple keys from the final stage. Back to the trading space, because I think that's a pretty good place. I don't really buy these search compasses. I think that's weird. But stamps and stuff, this is where a lot of the cube unlockers reside. I think there were a bunch in like first time clear rewards as well for the stages. But you'll get a bunch of these. Collab tickets, 300 souls of each unit. Cool. Stardust, Mother Souls, Ethereon, and the posters. Notably, as you finish this, we'll have I have 16 leftover silver coins. So I'm assuming they're going to update this for part 3, but you never know. They might not. I don't understand why I would have that many.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, considering, I mean, the last EX, the one that opened the Rainbow Potion was like 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 6 silver coins.
Wow.
And I still have 16 left. So I'm assuming, again, with the purple cubes that we haven't seen yet, and the silver coins, we're probably going to have more stuff next week. And that's going to be like the time trial one. So we might have a podcast, we might not. It'll be interesting. But mission rewards are solid. They go up to 136k. And I believe they get 1 of each. Yeah, let's go through this real quick. So, Into the Red Labyrinth, cool. We got all the first part stopped at what, 38.5k or something like that. Yeah, with the 10x. And then we got silver coins, more souls, more tickets for part 2, more coins, more Mother Souls, mega clusters. And then we're looking at LR dust. Cool, a 10x ticket at 92,000. And then we have 1 of each Radiance. Actually, 2 of what? Did we get 2? Sick. Didn't even realize
Wow.
that.
4 units, 4 radiances.
Yep. All 4 radiances for them. I don't know. We got 4 radiances, and that's pretty sick. 2 foreign, 1 radiant, 1 worldly, and 1 visionary. And then that's pretty much your baseline for the best stuff. And after that, it's all souls. So you'll get 10 times more souls, or like 10 times 60. 600 more souls, 150 each. Average, whatever. It goes up to like 130 some K. Let me see this real quick. Yeah, 136k. So you get another 180 souls each, which is cool. Whatever. And then you'll figure out and do the rest of these mission rewards. Like, I'm busy doing these because I haven't been farming souls at all. I've been doing like the double levels to get 5 each. But these give, like, they tell you this gives. This isn't like questioning like this might be the Radiance one. No, it tells you it's the Mega Cluster one, and this is also the Mega Cluster one. So you'll get 6 more Mega Clusters here for just doing these 15 times each. And it's just that's the quest. The next part that has been just unlocked that we finally got the second half. When you complete your heist, you get bonus missions or flash quests, bonus quests or flash quests. And it is particular to the area that you're given or you're doing the tours, right? So this last tour spot, and they don't tell you this, but you pretty much only get certain completion rewards. So I'm gonna complete all these heists and we'll see what we get. So we're gonna get bonus quests, brush up, which is gonna be like EXP. I think it's 90,000 EXP base. Trophy. I think that's rewards.
That's the gold mouse.
Is that the gold mouse?
Yeah.
And upgrade I think is souls. Souls EXP and AP. Nothing crazy here, but if you want to fight the Reaper, I don't bank on this, but I'm pretty sure you have to do a previous tour area. I think it was 6 or 7. Gave a lot of the the nightmare quests for Reaper, which gave the most XP and is a pretty fast leveling for your 110s. Like me earlier, I leveled all of these units, or both of my collab units, to 110 strictly by using the multiplayer function and fighting the Reaper boss.
Wait. Hold on. Sorry. What now? You got units to 110 off of the Reaper boss?
Yep.
How much XP does he give?
So
a ton.
He gives a good bit. At plus 35% XP, so that's going to be with the EXP up 2. You get 170,000 per quest.
Damn.
In multiplayer. So I was doing, it takes about 5 per level above 100. That's 50 quests to get to level 110 from 100. I did that for both of these units.
That's great.
That is a lot. The base versions, I believe at plus 35% again with EXP up 2, because I was bringing EXP up 2 on my units to ensure that. The base gave like 79 or 80k, right around there. That was the normal version. The hard version gave 120k, and the Nightmare gave 170k. That is a lot.
All right.
Well, Galen says it doesn't give that much. That is a lot.
That's a
for
ton.
One quest that you can infinitely join. Like people are running them all the time. Cognition Reaper. This is potentially 120k experience right here for one single quest. That's one wave that you can do for me in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's
again,
cool.
80k right here, guaranteed. 120k right here. Like you can just continue joining lobbies and getting XP very, very quickly, as long as you set yourself up for some EXP. And a lot of people pumping these lobbies out will be using EXP for themselves. They also cost 2 orbs each, so you're going to be getting, if you use the collab units, you're getting 10x AP every time.
Yeah. Just to address Oradon's comment, Granados is very irrelevant for this strategy.
Completely irrelevant.
Very irrelevant.
Why would you use you can only use one unit? You're just going to use Granados for yourself?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. Useless.
If you're trying to level Granados, then thumbs up, but
yeah, great, but
no.
No.
Granados is just go back and watch our podcast when he dropped, and we can give you all the info on why Granados' XP boost is kind of just garbage. But
let me throw an EXP of 2 and I'll show you just real. Do I not have it on him? All right, well I guess I'm not using it on him. Did I put it on you? No, I had it on this little babe. Yep. So we're gonna do this real quick. Do that. Okay, I'm going upside down because I can.
do it.
Do it.
Show off, bro.
Oh, I need Gaze at the end. Gaze at the end is great here because he's neutral to all elements, and once you put that on, you can activate things like weak point boost for a lot of units. Especially for people like Shift Merity who loves weakness. Very, very easy. And of course that's Not a very accessible skill, but
What
I'm gonna use
what typing is Reaper?
it. Undead.
Okay. I am building Murrin as we speak.
Good. Mern's great there. Okay. Am I gonna cap damage here? I don't know, but we're gonna try.
Yeah, he's a good
So let
friend
me just
unit.
double
That's what I
check.
will say while Tweacz is doing his thing. Granados as a friend support, thumbs up.
Yes.
Because bringing him into high XP stages like training field or even the special training dungeon for newer players, and even I use it occasionally. That's when Granados is great. Thumbs up. Just 100 XP boost on those heavy EXP stages. But other than that, where you would think that XP boost would be useful, it's very counterintuitive, and it's just not, sadly.
I'll use that. All right. I'm going to ensure that I'm capping, I think. Yeah, let's roll. Okay. Yeah, he's great for a unit. That's about it.
Yes, and that's what I figured you were
Let's go
saying,
find a lobby.
Oradon, but I just wanted to clarify for the general public.
Let's find a nightmare lobby.
In No, I
Refresh.
doubt it.
We're gonna find one pretty quickly. They pop up very often.
I fought my first one.
People are actually running these tours.
That's great.
Very often.
Well, I mean, you just
Here we go.
Yeah, I needed that because I was sleeping heavy. I just got that 38K.
My name's Levi. I was cosplaying with Levi earlier.
Nice.
And he was doing great work.
Yeah, you were doing some cosplaying earlier, bro. What was that?
It was really funny, actually. I was just naming my units or my account, the unit that I was using.
Nice.
Like Merity, Levi, Crow,
Love it.
Pilot. But it was pretty funny. 5.8 million health. Cool. Goodbye. Oh my god. Devil?
Oh no. Oh. Whoa.
And it's gone.
Good. That was good.
Yeah, Council of 10 is very good. Just but yeah, let's see the XP. Victory is ours. 85,000. This is gonna be multiplied twice. Or doubled. So we're gonna see. I think she's level 110, so it's not gonna show it, but she has a ×2 EXP gain. So it's gonna probably show 0, unfortunately. Yeah, it's gonna show 0, but it is 170k. Because all of these units get that doubled when they actually go deployed.
So it's super useful for the collab units. Not quite
super useful.
Not quite as potent for any others.
Half as useful for everyone else. But I wish I had a unit that it's whatever. This is what I use to finish leveling the nightmare mode. Of course, if you have, if you have phone booth, right? If you have the ability to just instantly get an X3 without the use of council, like phone booth and skill charge 3, the hard stage only is 600k HP, so it's literally one S3 from like a Violet or a Murrin. It's just gonna instantly be dead. And then the normal version is like 60k HP, so it's like very easily killable.
Gotcha.
The only one that takes a little bit is the nightmare version, and it gives more experience, but it's like not that much more for your time you're spending to do it.
Right. Yeah, only 30k.
50k more.
50k.
Still,
sorry.
120k is still really good for a hard version that takes 1 skill, or even 80k is still really good for a normal version that takes most people 1 skill. So it's just useful. It's very, very useful for experience farming, and I'm assuming because it's the start of the this week and this stuff is all new. There's going to be a lot of options to level your stuff right now. I can't guarantee that's going to continue through while people are like probably not doing this as much as they finish all their tours and get bored of it. So definitely go ahead and start this now.
Bird.
Nothing beats brush up for XP outside of Training Gate. That is only 90k per, so it's essentially the same thing as 1 nightmare level.
I think he's joking. Oh, yeah, maybe not.
I can't tell him. Maybe I have no idea. But yeah, we do have Training Gates up. We do have the special Training Gate every day. This is if you're using one unit with the EXP up to, actually with Granadas, I think it's like 675,000 per. And of course, it's obviously less if you're using less experience, like 300 some K. And then, use your EXP ups, use a single unit to gain that. But yeah. So a lot of ways to level up your units right now for the collab, which is cool.
Like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen,
I think that's about it. No?
sounds like about it. I think
believe so.
11 p.m.'s good. Cut off, little 2 hour. A lot of info, but
Yeah, why'd you let me talk so long?
oh, bro, thank you for
Seem
carrying
to enjoy yourself.
the pod per usual. Because I was coming into this one blind, y'all. Your boy Buddha, evidently by I've posted 2 videos in the last 2 weeks. IRL has been kicking your boy's butt, so we're just handling it as you do. But appreciate y'all for coming out. Appreciate my co-hosts for holding it down. And hope you guys have been enjoying the collab for what it's worth. As Tweacz has laid out, when we do this podcast, it's just from a lens of, mainly from Tweacz lens of just having everything. So the criticism is very harsh. It's very precise. But for any new players, these are incredible units compared to the entire roster of the game. So
agreed. They are some of the best DPS we've seen, easily.
Yeah, to clarify the negative criticisms that you may have heard, it's all specifically aimed towards their weird gimmicks that are
poorly
completely
implemented.
irrelevant. Just ignore those entirely. They're great units.
Yep.
Exactly.
No, I agree.
Yeah, when are we getting Shift Roll and Sword? That's the real question that we're all waiting for.
We're all waiting.
We're all waiting next.
God Forge Zelbius, let's go.
Please.
Please.
So yeah, as Tweacz said, we will see what the third update brings next week. I doubt it would be anything that I would consider podcast worth, but again, TBD. Beyond that, I think, what are we looking forward to? More guild content was teased for.
Yeah, we'll
June?
see about that.
We'll see about that. So
who knows?
We don't know until we still have about 2 weeks left. So keep your eye out on my channel, on Tweacz' channel. You guys know the drill. Like, subscribe, bell noties if you're new. Welcome to the game. And I think that's all we got for you this time, guys. Y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next podcast.